Good evening, everyone. This is Steve Lookner from Right Side Broadcasting. We are coming to you tonight with a special live stream to catch you up and talking about the breaking events this afternoon and early this evening with North Korea. We came on the air this morning. Before I do that, though, I'm going to real quick just make sure, as I always do, that you can hear me here. Broadcasting. It sounds like you can hear me. Well, great. So we came on this morning and did a live stream when there was this breaking news that came out that the Defense Intelligence Agency, according to the Washington Post, the United States Defense Intelligence Agency came out with a new assessment of North Korea's nuclear capability, where they said that North Korea has miniaturized nuclear weapons so that they're able to put those nuclear weapons on a long-range missile, and they're already producing smaller nuclear weapons that can go on the top of their long-range missiles. That was a new step that had not been taken by North Korea before, and that was the live stream we did this morning. After that, though, there were some more developments which we never got a chance to talk about, so we wanted to come on and talk about them right now and get your thoughts on them. So the first of the two developments was that President Trump issued a threat to North Korea. I don't know, maybe a lot of you have seen it, but I'm going to play it for you again here so you can watch it again. So we'll watch it a couple times. It's short, and then we'll talk about it.
Best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen. He has been very threatening, beyond a normal statement. And as I said, they will be met with fire, fury, and frankly, power, the likes of which this world has never seen before. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's just watch that one more time. You can see President Trump is talking about North Korea. And he says that if they keep making threats to the United States, they're going to be met with a fire and fury, fury like the world has never seen before. Let's watch that one more time.
Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen. He has been very threatening, beyond a normal statement. And as I said, they will be met with fire, fury, and frankly, power, the likes of which this world has never seen before. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so that happened in the aftermath of, sorry, let me go back to me for a second. In the aftermath of the news coming out that North Korea, according to U.S. intelligence, has miniaturized nuclear weapons. That was President Trump's statement. Strong words from President Trump saying if North Korea threatens the U.S. again, they will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen. And to be clear, some people were saying, "Oh, President Trump drew a red line at them threatening us again." So that means if they verbally threaten us again, then that means we're supposed to attack them. I think what President Trump may have meant, might be wrong about this, when he said if they threaten us again, that could be meant a lot of ways. He could have meant verbal threats, but it would seem like I would think the administration knows that they're going to always get verbal threats from North Korea. That's like how they do things, is they're always throwing out verbal threats. So I took it as perhaps President Trump may be saying if North Korea takes another further step in their nuclear program, perhaps if they conduct a larger nuclear test than they've ever done before, perhaps if they continue to do missile tests, then they'll be met with fire and fury. Or he could have meant something else by if they threaten us. So, it's I leave it up to you how to interpret President Trump's words there. Anyway, so President Trump made that threat to North Korea. But then what happened after that, I believe a couple hours after that, is we got a statement from North Korea that they were threatening Guam. Guam is a U.S. territory, And you know what I'll do? I forgot to do this before. Let me get the map up here of Guam so you can see it. I have to zoom out just so we can see where it is. All right, there we go. So if you see just above where the words North Korea are on the lower third there you see the little island of Guam, and it's out in the Pacific Ocean. You can see the Philippines there. I can raise this for you a little bit. Let me raise it up there. So you can see the Philippines, you can see Taiwan. Next to Taiwan is China. I can probably get Korea on the screen here. Now I have to go down. If I zoom out enough, you can see North Korea up there, but now Guam just disappeared. So anyways, it's in the Pacific, island in the Pacific, southeast, near the countries of Southeast Asia, relatively near. So North Korea responded to President Trump's threat with a threat of their own. And I have the threat here, I'm going to call it up. And they threatened the territory of Guam. Here's what they said. This is an excerpt of the threat I'm going to show you right now. Let me move this down so you can read it. This was from the North Korean military, by the way. They said the KPA strategic force is now carefully examining the operational plan for making an enveloping fire at the areas around Guam with medium to long range strategic ballistic rocket Hwasong-12 in order to contain the U.S. major military bases on Guam, including the Andersen Air Force Base, in which the U.S. strategic bombers, which get on the nerves of the Dprk and threaten and blackmail it through their frequent visits to the sky above South Korea, are stationed, and to send a serious warning signal to the U.S. The plan is to be soon reported to the Supreme Command after going through full examination and completion, and will be put into practice in a multi-concurrent and consecutive way in any moment once Kim Jong-un, Supreme Commander of the nuclear force of the Dprk, makes a decision. The execution of this plan will offer an occasion for the Yankees to be the first to experience the might of the strategic weapons of the Dprk closest. Now, it's worth noting here, interestingly, this is not a threat to this. The threat is to point fire at the areas around Guam, not Guam itself, although I'm not sure if this is the best translation. And so I could see a world in which this is interpreted as like, oh, it's a threat, but they could have threatened like directly attacking Guam and they didn't. Or it's just seen as a threat on Guam because they talk about how the U.S. will be the first to experience the might of the strategic weapons of the Dprk. So, you know, again, different ways to interpret this threat from the Dprk, but from North Korea. So basically, though, we have strong words, a strong threat of fire and fury from President Trump, and then we have this strong threat of launching medium to long range strategic ballistic rocket missiles from North Korea in the area of Guam, where we have a lot of soldiers stationed. So, and we have an Air Force base there. So, just to clarify, just to make sure they're getting their facts right, Guam Air Force Base is Andersen Air Force Base on Guam. I'm sort of interested in knowing how many U.S. troops on Guam. Let me look that up. We have, well, I was looking for an easy answer from Google, but I didn't find one. It looks to here, I'm seeing something that says 3,800, around 3,800 American military in Guam. So we have these threats, we have these strong words. What will happen next? What will happen next? And a lot of debate has been going on this evening, late this afternoon, this evening, about President Trump's threat. I've heard some people say, you know, well, you shouldn't make a threat you can't back up, and can he back this up? I've heard some people say, you know, this threat wasn't made after consulting with all the allies and everything, but some other people might think it's good that we have a president making a strong threat to North Korea. What do you think? I'd like to hear what you think about all this. If you want to have your comment read on the air, I'd be happy to read it. Write to me at @Lookner on Twitter, @LOOKNER, and I will read your comment. By the way, hello to people both on YouTube and Facebook. And just so you know, I can't really see your comment if you type it in the chat room. The way to reach me is to write to me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. Thank you to the moderators for moderating the chat room. As usual, we've had a few broadcasts today. We appreciate your moderators, all your hard work. And also, if you do enjoy this coverage, if you do enjoy having an alternative to the mainstream media to go to for your news, we hope you consider giving a donation to Right Side Broadcasting, because we are viewer supported. We can't stay on the air without your support. Your donations are what allows us to be on the air. So if you'd like to donate, you can go to rsbn.tv/donate. That's rsbn.tv/donate. Or you can click on the $sign at the bottom of the YouTube chat, which is right next to the broadcast. There's a little $sign down there. You can click on it and make a donation that way. Okay, I'm going to check on your comments and see if any of you have written any comments yet, because I'd love to get to those. William Schroyer Jr. writes in, North Korea does nothing without China's okay. North Korea attacks us, it has China's will. That's from William Schroyer. Let me make sure I'm all caught up otherwise. Oh, you know what I can do now is actually... hold on a second. 4 years of MAGA writes in, well, problem is, next missile fired by North Korea, our military will not wait to ask if it is a test. That's from 4 years of MAGA. There were a couple other comments here. A comment earlier sent to us by Jason Thornton. Jason said, I would like to hear more about so North Korea tested an ICBM. The last two tests they did were these long-range missiles that could hit the United States. They're the HS-14. And Jason said, I'd like to hear more about the HS-14's accuracy or error of probability. Can North Korea hit the side of a proverbial barn or not? Even with a nuke warhead, if it can't hit near enough to the actual target, the 10K range is moot. Thanks for covering breaking news and not fake news. So I am not sure about the exact margin of error on North Korea's targeting. I have heard they do need to work on their targeting. So their targeting of their missiles is by no means perfected. And to get nuclear missiles that can hit the United States, a couple things they need to do is improve their targeting. Although maybe they could get it to the United States, but just couldn't get it, at the city they wanted to hit. I don't know about that. But their targeting does need to be improved. Also, re-entry. When they fire a missile at the United States, it goes very high up and out of the atmosphere. When it comes back in the atmosphere, it undergoes lots of stress and heat. And right now, experts believe they have not yet developed a missile and a warhead strong enough to stand the stress and heat of coming back into the atmosphere. But they are reportedly working on that. So. Their targeting is not exact yet from what I've heard, but I'm not sure what the margin for error is on that. And, no matter if they fire a missile at a city and it's a little off, but it lands on some town or some more remote area, that could still do a ton of damage. So it is worrisome. Thank you, Jason, for writing in. Let's see, P-Cell wrote in before. Hey, Steve, what do we know about this Defense Intelligence Agency that they're the ones who came out with this report saying they believe North Korea has miniaturized nuclear weapons and can put them on top of a missile? So P-Cell says, what do we know about this DIA? They are based in D.C., a.k.a. the Swamp. They do not report to the Secretary of Defense. Because this agency is somewhat of a mystery and no one really knows about the employees, most people working there now are from previous administration. A part of me feels like all this could be to put more stress on this administration. I'm not saying North Korea is not a threat, but I would like to hear this from the Pentagon and the White House. Could this be a deep state effort to stall the economy? Who knows, but we will find out. That was from P-Cell earlier today. Now, P-Cell, I understand your point in saying you'd like to hear some more from the Pentagon or from the White House. Now, we did hear President Trump speak today with his strong words against threatening North Korea, and he did not. So President Trump did not deny the Washington Post today about what the DIA said, and he seemed to suggest that North Korea was a threat and a serious threat. So at least it seems like the president, to me, seemed to be on board with this report from the DIA. I'm not saying he agreed to the whole thing, because he didn't specifically say that. But we haven't heard anything today or tonight from the Pentagon or the White House contradicting this report in the Washington Post. And the longer it goes without hearing anything contradicting it, makes me think that the Pentagon and the White House are on board with this report, this intelligence assessment from the DIA. Thank you, P-Cell, for writing in. If you would like to write in, we would love to hear your opinion on what's been going on with North Korea today. These threats from the president to North Korea and North Korea to Guam, threatening to President Trump threatening to unleash fire and fury on North Korea, and North Korea threatening to attack Guam with missiles in the area around Guam, which could basically mean Guam. So what do you think about this? Write to me at Lookner, at Lookner. Let me know what you think. Also, feel free to share this video and like the video on YouTube. That lets other people know about Right Side Broadcasting. We love to let other people know we're doing this stuff. Okay, let me get to your messages. Cook writes in, what other choice is North Korea leaving us? If we back down, we look weak. So it sounds like a couple different points you're making. You're saying, you're saying if they keep ramping it up, we're going to be forced to do something because we can't just let them have these weapons that can hit the United States. And also, you might be referring to the fact that, we've said before, both past administrations and this administration, we're not going to let this happen. So, H.R. McMaster said a few days ago that it would not be tolerated for the North Koreans to have nuclear missiles that could threaten the continental United States. But it looks like they're on their way to having that. So you're making the point, Cook, that if North Korea does get nuclear missiles and they perfect, which they have missiles and they have small nuclear weapons, but if they can perfect the technology to hit the United States, does that might make us look weak because we said we're not going to let it happen. So you're saying it's starting to look like we have no choice but to do something, whatever it takes, so that they don't have this arsenal of nuclear weapons that they can hit us with. Let's see. RealNSE.com says North Korea will become. He says, I like that our president isn't afraid to stand up for us. North Korea will become a parking lot if they try us. That's from RealNSE.com. Logan Flosscrude says, I say we send warnings similar to what we did with Bashar in Syria. So what you're suggesting, Logan, is maybe there's some kind of limited military warning, a couple of missiles of some sort, or some kind of limited military something or other, which could send a warning we're serious. Perhaps that's on the table. I don't know. Thank you, Logan. Chris Lyon writes, North Korea cannot hit Guam without launching a missile over Japan. That's from Chris. Now, do you mean, Chris, but is it, they've already done missile tests that land near Japan. Do you think they'd have a problem with firing a missile over Japan? Now, maybe you're suggesting something like we could shoot it down. Feel free to clarify, Chris, if you'd like. Thank you for writing in. Let's see. Oh, and a point that DL Maloney makes. I'm sorry, DL Maloney. You're correct. So what DL Maloney says is that Guam is a U.S. territory. So everybody on Guam is now. Are they technically U.S. citizens or full citizens? I don't know. How does that work? So are residents of Guam citizens? Residents of Guam, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands are U.S. citizens. Hold on a second. Let's see this. I'm looking this up. It's an excellent question. I know they don't have certain privileges some citizens have. Well, that article was less helpful than I wanted. Ooh, they might be U.S. All right, so I see an article here that says all U.S. citizens are U.S. nationals, but there are some who are U.S. nationals but are not U.S. citizens. Nope, it looks like Guam might be citizens. Now those who are born in Guam, Puerto Rico, or the U.S. Virgin Islands are full U.S. citizens. Okay, so, and you're pointing out, this was an excellent message. What a good message this was. The population of Guam is 163,000, around there. So we actually have the U.S. military people in Guam, but all the U.S. citizens in Guam, 163,000 of them. So thank you, DL Maloney, for that correction. That's an excellent message you sent me. And they could all be threatened by North Korea too. Solomon's Temple says, interesting that Kim Jong-un picked Guam. Shows South Korea, Japan, and China that they are not the targets. Well, maybe he picked Guam because, as we've been saying, Guam is a U.S. territory. Doesn't mean South Korea is not a target, however, Solomon's Temple, but it does show them he has other targets as well in consideration. Keck writes in, I think McMasters has leaked this info to the Washington Post in order to get Trump to attack so the globalists can make him look bad. That is, so the theory is that McMaster leaked this info to the Washington Post in order to get Trump to attack so the globalists can make him look bad. Can make Trump look bad? Am I... Keck, feel free to clarify a little more. I'm not sure when you say make him look bad. I think you mean Trump, but I'm not sure. Feel free to clarify. Thank you, Keck, for writing in. Ella Bell Watson says, if North Korea fires over Japan, can they or we intercept it before it gets to Guam? I don't know enough about our interception technology. I know in South Korea, we have a THAAD anti-missile defense system, but I don't know if that's just designed to protect South Korea. I don't know what our capacity is for intercepting missiles that are fired over Japan. I don't know. Elijah says, it's not North Korea. Oh, sorry, this was different. This was a response to something. That was different. Apologies. Billy D. Wall says, we shouldn't be too worried about North Korea until Trump and Kim Jong-un are arguing on Twitter. That's from Billy D. Wall. This is Right Side Broadcasting. We are doing a live stream tonight about the threats and counter threats happening today over North Korea. President Trump. Why don't we watch that one more time? President Trump's what he said about North Korea today. If I can find it, I'll show it to you. Here it is. Let's watch that one more time. What President Trump had to say. Oops, sorry. Here's what he had to say.
North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen. He has been very threatening beyond a normal statement. And as I said, they will be met with fire, fury, and frankly, power, the likes of which this world has never seen before. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that was President Trump threatening North Korea today if they keep threatening us. And what do you think about this? Do you think we are on the road to military action against North Korea? Do you think this will ultimately end up with negotiations? Do you think there's some other option here that's what will happen? Write to me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear it, and I'll share it on the air. Annabelle Onion says, can you do a quick recap, please? I'm late to this live stream. Oh, so rather than just rewind it, you rewinding it, I gotta repeat everything for everyone, Annabelle. No, I'll quickly do a recap. Really quickly, three big things happened today. One, the Washington Post reported that the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency thinks that North Korea now has miniaturized nuclear weapons to the point where they could put them on top of missiles and are producing these small nuclear weapons that can go on top of missiles. President Trump made this threatening statement toward North Korea, which we just watched. That's number two. And number three, North Korea, after President Trump said this, said they're considering an attack in the area of Guam and firing missiles in this area of Guam, where we have over 3,000 military personnel and over 160,000 U.S. citizens. So that's the very quick recap. Ella Bell Watson says, is the earthquake in China affecting any of this at all? China may be preoccupied right now. So I've not heard that it has anything to do with what's going on here. I mean, I'm sure China is, in part, China is trying to take care of the people affected by their earthquake. There might have been two earthquakes today in China, but at the same time, I've not heard anything about this affecting this situation at all. Keck says, yes, so Keck originally had written, I think McMaster has leaked this info to the Washington Post in order to get Trump to attack so the globalists can make him look bad. And then Keck continued, yes, to make Trump look bad. McMaster went to the Bilderberg and has been firing Trump loyalists under his control all this month. That's from Keck. I'm going to do a quick check here just to see if there's any more like kind of breaking stuff that just came out, breaking news that came out on this since we've been on the air. Let me do a quick check. But this is really President Trump's words to North Korea and North Korea's threat to the United States. A lot of people are talking about it throughout the country and throughout the world tonight. So I don't see anything in the last few minutes. Interestingly, President Trump just posted a tweet, but had nothing to do with North Korea. I'll show you that tweet. Actually, when was this? Yeah, this was I think about an hour ago. Using an hour ago or 5 minutes ago. I can't tell. There's some time zone issues here. It's hard to tell what time zone this is being presented as. But it says, Senator Luther Strange has done a great job representing the great people state of Alabama. He is my complete and total endorsement. So that is, President Trump just tweeted that out tonight. Annabelle Onion says, thanks for the recap. You are a peach. You're welcome, Annabelle. William A. Schroyer says, when I heard about North Korea, I thought it was a setup to get Trump to get Trump to rant. Then they would say he is dangerous. That's from William Schroyer. So if you enjoy these broadcasts, hope you consider subscribing to Right Side Broadcasting. When you subscribe to us on YouTube and you click the notifications bell, you'll get notified about whenever we come on the air with these videos. Also, like and follow us on Facebook, and that way you'll find out about our videos too. We post our videos onto Facebook, a lot of them as well. And you can follow us on Twitter at RSB Network. I am on Twitter at Lookner. I post a lot of breaking news stuff if you like that kind of thing. And we're talking about North Korea. We're going to be on it for a little while longer here. Really love to hear. Thank you for all of you who've sent in your comments so far. Really interesting to hear all your views on this. If any of you have any thoughts on this situation, what you think will happen, what you think should happen, what do you think about President Trump's threat? Do you think he should have made this threat today? Was it too strong? Was it just right? Was it not strong enough? Write to me on Twitter at Lookner. Let me know what you think. And also, we are viewer supported. So if you enjoy having these kind of broadcasts on the air, please consider making a donation. Even small donations really help us out. We can't stay on the air without your support. If you want to donate, go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate, or click on the $sign in the YouTube chat room. Right at the bottom of the chat room, there's a $sign. It is one of the viewers mentioned it before, and I want to say, and I think it was a good point. I think it's worth repeating that. We the succession of administrations has gone on record as saying this will not happen, and the problem is, so there's this question: can we allow North Korea to get nuclear missiles that can hit the continental United States now? Because if it does happen, does it undermine our credibility? Because we've said it won't happen. So we have said it won't happen, but I really have no idea what will happen with this. I don't know what the Trump administration is going to end up doing about this. I don't know what their timeline is. And I'm sure it's a very one of, if not the most important topic on their minds right now. But I really genuinely couldn't tell you what's going to happen. I don't even have a clue. What will there be military action? Will there not be? Will there be, say, strong sanctions on China? Say there could be sanctions on Chinese banks, say, who are accused of giving money or giving loans to North Korea. So the serious sanctions could be another step. Don't know what will happen. But will it happen soon? Did the events of today push the clock forward? We'll have to see. Let's see here. We have RealNSC.com says, thanks for the good show. You're welcome, RealNSC. I'd love to hear your opinion on this and if you're concerned about North Korea. Well, I just said a little about this. Maybe that answered your question, RealNSC. But something I mentioned earlier in our broadcast, which I think is a very important part of this crisis, and it's not talked about enough, is proliferation. So the DIA assessment today, one piece of this DIA assessment, which we didn't talk about yet tonight, was that the DIA says North Korea now has up to 60 nuclear weapons. 60. Israel, which is widely acknowledged as a nuclear power, only has 80. So 60 is a lot. And, North Korea, they're a rogue state. Kim Jong-un had his half-brother killed in a Malaysia airport by women holding rags full of poisonous gas. They're a rogue state. They don't have a good economy. They need wealth. They need money and food and whatever. To me, it's certainly possible that North Korea would send nuclear technology or a nuclear weapon to a terrorist group, to a country like Iran, to another rogue state, or rogue group. So if they were paid to do so. So that's very worrying. If you have Kim Jong-un with 60 nuclear weapons, who's to say that he couldn't give up one of these weapons or the technology and help a terrorist group if he wants to get at the United States? So that's really scary, and it seems like a very hard thing to live with if they both have in North Korea missiles that can hit the continental United States with nuclear weapons. That's bad enough, but also all this technology and all these nuclear weapons that they could share with terrorists. So it seems like that's really maybe unacceptable, but at the same time, military options are not pleasant. If we attack with military, there could be a lot of casualties. They might launch an artillery strike, North Korea, at South Korea. In addition to tens of thousands of our soldiers there are millions of people in South Korea who would be in the range of the artillery. So it could be a giant mess if there's military action. And you don't know what China will do if we start acting militarily on their back door. So military action, very difficult. So it's a very, very, very difficult situation right now. Let's see. Billy D. Wall sent me a clip that says apparently Trump was railing against the Dems in action on North Korea back in 1999. What is this clip? Hold on, I'll check it out.
The man walks up to you.
So now we have volume. I'm sorry. So we're going to show a clip. Billy D. Wall sent a clip. I want to show it to you. I haven't watched it yet, but it looks like it might be interesting. If I can find it. Here it is. So this was posted by Paul Joseph Watson today. And the clip is said, Paul Joseph Watson says, 1999, Trump accurately blames Democrats for giving North Korea nukes in the first place. Let's see this clip from 1999.
North Korea, and you say that you, as president, would be willing to launch a preemptive strike against North Korea's nuclear capability.
First, I'd negotiate. I would negotiate like crazy, and I'd make sure that we tried to get the best deal possible. But look, Tim, if a man walks up to you on a street in Washington, because this doesn't happen, of course, in New York, but if a man walks up and puts a gun to your head and says, give me your money, wouldn't you rather know where he's coming from before he had the gun in his hand? And these people, in 3 or 4 years, are going to be having nuclear weapons. They're going to have those weapons pointed all over the world, and specifically at the United States. And wouldn't you be better off solving this really potentially unbelievable, and the biggest problem, I mean, we can talk about the economy, we can talk about Social Security. The biggest problem this world has is nuclear proliferation. And we have a country out there in North Korea, which is sort of wacko, which is not a bunch of dummies, and they are going out and they are developing nuclear weapons. And they're not doing it because they're having fun doing it, they're doing it for a reason. And wouldn't it be good to sit down and really negotiate something, and ideally negotiate? Now, if that negotiation doesn't work, you better solve the problem now than solve it later, Tim. And you know it, and every politician knows it, and nobody wants to talk about it. Jimmy Carter, who I really like, and he went over there, it was so soft. These people are laughing at us.
The former general of the Air Force, Merrill McPeak, the former Secretary of Defense, Les Aspin, said you could not launch a preemptive strike against North Korea because the nuclear fallout could be devastating to the Asian Peninsula.
I'm not talking about us using nuclear weapons. I'm saying that they have areas where they're developing missiles.
No, but taking out their nuclear potential would create a fallout.
Tim, do you know that this country went out and gave them nuclear reactors, free fuel for 10 years? We virtually tried to bribe them into stopping, and they're continuing to do what they're doing, and they're laughing at us. They think we're a bunch of dummies. I'm saying that we have to do something to stop.
But if the military told you, Mr. Trump, we can't do this.
You give me 2 names. You're giving me 2 names. I don't know. You want to do it in 5 years when they have warheads all over the place, every one of them pointing to New York City, to Washington, and every one of our... Is that when you want to do it, or do you want to do something now?
So that was an interesting video from 1999 posted by Paul Joseph Watson, and our viewer, who sent that to me again? That I owe a thank you to. I had Billy D. Wall. Thank you, Billy, for sending that. So that was Donald Trump in 1999 talking about this situation. It's get back to some more of your comments here. Sorry, I missed a couple comments before, so I want to get back to where they were. John Musk says Guam gets a vote in the Electoral College. So yes, they are citizens of the United States. 1 vote. You know, I had completely forgotten whether Guam gets a vote. Electoral College. I don't think for the president they do. No, citizens of Guam may not vote in general elections for president. That's what it says in Wikipedia. They have a straw poll there, but they don't get an electoral vote. That's my understanding, and Wikipedia's. Let's see. But thank you for writing in, John. Billy D. Wall says North Korea could have sleeper agents in the U.S. today planning to take out federal buildings if anything happens to Kim Jong-un. Thank you, Billy D. I think a bigger worry that I've heard about a lot is North Korea supposedly having a lot of sleeper agents in South Korea ready to take actions if any kind of military stuff starts happening. Anonymous 541 says, it seems like South Korea, China, and Russia have mixed options while Britain are forced to decrease the military population. Is World War III upon us? I don't think World War III is upon us yet, thank goodness. But, you know, a worry is that once military stuff starts, it can keep ramping up and can spiral out of control. And so it's always good to avoid military anything when you can. At least if you don't want it to spiral out of control, which I don't think most people want. Annabelle Onion says, speaking of fallout, didn't Japan rebuild both the cities the U.S. nuked during World War II? Yeah, they are rebuilt. You know, the thing is that nuclear weapons now, though, are a lot more powerful than the ones used in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And there's a big worry if there was any kind of nuclear conflict, just how much the fallout would kill people and hurt people and make large areas uninhabitable. And I am not an expert on all this, but it's a significant issue when you're talking about use of nuclear weapons. Cecil Choate writes, I had a source tell me if we go to military action, it will be before September 29th, 2017, because the Treasury Department estimates it will run out of funds to pay its debt and interest on that date, and financial markets will be watching loosely for action. If Congress fails to act, the U.S. would default. The date falls on a Friday and coincides with the last weekday of fiscal 2017. So I'm a little confused what the argument here is. Why would we want to go on to have military action before the 29th? See, I'm presuming that whatever date is that we run out of funds, it's in late September, I believe, sometime early October, the Congress will pass some kind of resolution to continue the funding. But I'm not sure exactly how that affects, what effect that would have on when we do a military strike. You can always write back and clarify, Cecil. Thank you for writing in. ER says Kim is dangerous and should have been taken out months ago. Keck says, if you watch the mainstream media, there are two narratives that are identical in both the CNN camp and the Fox News camp. One, McMaster is a great pick, and two, North Korea can fire a missile and hit the U.S. I never trust the facts. Both camps in the mainstream media puppet. That's from Keck. Okay, we're going to stay on here for a few more minutes. So if you'd like to write in your comments, get them in soon at Lookner, at Lookner on Twitter. And also, we are viewer supported. So if you're enjoying our program, hope you consider making a donation, because your donations are what lets us stay on the air. You can donate at rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate, or you can click on the $sign in the YouTube chat next to the broadcast. There's a $sign at the bottom of the chat room. Even small donations really help us out. We cannot stay on the air without them. We stay on the air. We use the donations to keep broadcasting. Without donations, we would be off the air. So we appreciate your support that has let us stay on the air, and we want to keep doing this for you. Thank you again to the moderators for moderating the chat tonight. Annabelle Onion says, does declaring a state of emergency with North Korea as an excuse give an extension to the national debt's default date? So I'm not sure about all of this stuff with the national debt and how that relates to North Korea. I guess what I'm not sure of is how the threat of a default would affect whether we could undertake military action or not. I'm not sure that the two are connected, and I don't know enough about that. So I can't really intelligently answer your question. JC says, Steve, in my opinion, if North Korea were to try and attack us, do you think they will hit a military site or a major city or both? So right now, JC, they don't really have the technology to be able to hit us because they have long-range missiles, but those missiles are going to disintegrate on re-entry into the atmosphere. So they right now can't attack us in the continental United States with a nuclear weapon or even a long-range missile. Perhaps they could attack our troops in South Korea because those are very close and they could attack them with artillery, or even maybe a short-range missile, perhaps even with a nuclear weapon on it, or maybe Guam, but they wouldn't attack us. So if they were going to attack us at this point, it seems like it would need to be somewhere much more close to them. For example, in South Korea or perhaps in Guam, which is further away, but not as far away as we are. Pulse says, I say Trump, let's fire on North Korea and take them out. They're going to cause too much trouble. That is from Pulse. Let me just do a quick check here. See if anything happened the last couple of minutes. Nope, I don't see anything new. Anonymous 541 says, if military action is played out, then millions of lives will be lost. Why can't we just get along and smoke some marijuana? Haha. That is from Anonymous 541. P. Tudsbury, you sent me a message about the 2 earthquakes in China. One in Sichuan, one in Xinjiang. One on Tuesday evening in Chinatown, one on Wednesday morning for Chinatown. Thank you, P. Tudsbury. Okay, we'll give it a couple more minutes, and then we're going to get off the air. And so, I want a last call for comments. How's that? Last call for your comments. If you've been thinking about sending in a comment, send it in now, because we're going to get off the air. But we will, with any more breaking news that happens, even though there haven't been any press briefings this week, if there's breaking news, we will cover it and come on the air. If you want to know when we're covering stuff, again, subscribe to us on YouTube. Click on the notifications bell when you subscribe. And also like and follow us on Facebook. And you can also follow us on Twitter to get the latest information about Right Side. We always post on Twitter when we're going to cover stuff at RSB Network. And you can follow me at Lookner on Twitter. All right, I think we are going to wrap this special North Korea live stream up. We wanted to come on the air and give you a chance to talk about the events of this afternoon because we didn't get to cover them in our early North Korea live stream. So hope you've been enjoying the live stream and hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks to people for all of you for watching. Oh, by the way, real quick, I'm drinking from a Right Side mug right now. If you want to get Right Side mug and other free Right Side stuff in exchange for a monthly donation, check out our Patreon site, www.patreon.com/RSBN. So I'm going to say a quick hello to the YouTube chat room. Annabelle Onion says, do nuclear weapons have a use-by date because of radioactive decay? I don't know, Annabelle. I do know that our nuclear weapons are regularly maintained and checked, but I don't know exactly the deal about the use-by dates on them. Oh, we got a message from Zach LaFleur. Zach says, Trump says North Korea will be met by fire and fury if they continue to make threats. Do you believe he'll really attack over threats? So we were talking about a little bit about this before. Zach, I don't believe President Trump meant to say if they continue to make verbal threats, because North Korea is always making verbal threats, and the administration is aware of that. So I'm guessing when he said if they continue to make threats, he meant something like if they continue to take threatening actions, such as developing their technology further. Maybe if they ever conducted like a thermonuclear test of a hydrogen bomb. They haven't done that yet. I could see that as being those are even much more powerful than the ones they've tested so far. That could be something. So I took his saying we're going to attack you if you continue to threaten us as talking about their actions and not their verbal threats. That's what I thought he meant. Simon Terse 2000 says, I hope President Trump hits North Korea, turn that mentally ill twerp into Kelly and Jelly, do you mean? Into Kelly, and liberate his people. Aaron Williams says, if Trump thinks North Korea threat is beyond the normal state, he must think democratic threats are a joke and no big deal. It seems like there might be a typo here, Aaron Williams. Maybe there's a word missing or something. Let me know if that was the case. And let me make sure I'm caught up. Okay, we're going to end this, I think, now. Oh, we have a message. I didn't get to it. And Spoiler Alert sent a $5 donation. Thank you, Spoiler Alert. And Spoiler Alert said, Fire and Fury are actually a pair of top secret transsexual Navy SEALs. Good luck, Norks. So that is from Spoiler Alert. And I should say, I didn't say it before in the broadcast. When you send in comments, we'll read them on the air. We don't necessarily approve or disapprove of any of the comments. We don't take an opinion on them. We want this to be a place where you can share your comments. So as long as they're not like, dirty and that kind of thing, we're willing to share them. But just know we encourage open discussion from different views here. So no matter what your view, you're welcome to write in and get your view on the air, as long as it's clean. That's what I'll say. Thank you again for that donation, Spoiler Alert. Francis Purcell says, Steve, if North Korea keeps making threats, do you think America should have a surprise attack on North Korea to alleviate the nuclear threats? It's so hard because on the one hand, you don't want them to keep developing their technology and eventually to get nuclear missiles that can hit the United States. On the other hand, there's so many costs possibly to military action. So I certainly think it should be on the table and considered. Put it that way. Aaron Williams said, I like how the president said, best not, like a country boy. And Pete Hudsbury, you said Lynn Jean posted about this in the channel, but the tweet before that is empty. Message to me. Okay, we are now going to wrap this up. Appreciate all of you watching. Hello, everybody in the chat, in the YouTube chat. I have that open, by the way, in front of me. Can I see the Facebook chat too? Let me just say a couple quick hellos to people. So in the YouTube chat, I'm seeing Jose, Young Baby, K7, Pepe, 321, K7, Born Again, Joshua, Light Switch, Francis, Jan, Red Scourge, Peppy, Martin, Summer Breeze, David. Hello, all of you who've been watching and commenting. Chris, Jan, JC was there before. And on Facebook, let's see if I can see what's going on Facebook, if I can get the chat there. I see Roxanne, Mary, Liz, Marianne. They've written comments, so hello to you. And thank you to everybody for watching. See, this is what happens. As soon as I'm going to go off in the air, that's when everybody writes their messages in. Annabelle Onion says, be sure to get some sleep tonight. I have a feeling tomorrow's going to get rather hectic. We'll see, Annabelle. JC, no, I already read that. I already read that one from you. Pete Hudsbury, you sent me a link from BBC. Oh, BBC posted. When was this posted? That's a story from 2013, however. So I don't know if you meant that to be, if the thought was that's a current story. It's a story about Guam in 2013. I'll have to look at that after. All right, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you, everybody, for watching tonight and for all of your comments. We appreciate it. And we will be on the air, if late tonight, if tomorrow, if the next day there's breaking news, we will always cover it for you and come on the air. And thank you all. I'm looking in the chat room. Thanks to everybody for watching. And thank you, all of you on Facebook as well and YouTube. I said a lot of thank yous, but I don't get tired of saying thank you because you guys, your support allows us to be on the air, and we do this for you. So once again, before I sign off, if you want to donate to us to keep us on the air because we're viewer supported, rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow and like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at RSB Network. You can follow me on Twitter at Lookner. And I think that's going to be it. So for all of us here at, and before we get off the here, see somebody made a donation. SDSE just donated $20 and said, click like and donate whatever you could to support RSBN live streaming. Thank you, RSBN MAGA. That's very nice of you, SDSE. And I see some people saying goodbye in the chat room now. Angie is there. Angie looks like she just joined. Freeman, thank you, Freeman. Some new people posting. I see Chanel posting in there. Thanks again, SDSE, for the donation. And yeah, okay. See now, please don't. Let's see here. Steve, let's see. What is this? Thanks, Kimberly Stevens, for. Well, I thought you were saying thanks to me, but thank you for posting in the chat room anyway. Linda Hall, thank you. I'm glad you like the shirt and tie combination. Thanks, Barney. Barney is saying goodbye. Now all these people are saying goodbye in the chat room, so I'll say quick goodbye. Thank you, Jan. Thank you, JC. Thank you, Home Traders. Thanks, Brian Last. Thank you, Angie. Thank you, Brazil. Thanks, AJ and Anon. And Jude. Yeah, Jude says, difficult to say goodbye. Well, now everybody's saying goodbye, so I want to say quick goodbyes to everybody because they've been on with us today. Let's see. Okay, now, all right, I think I said all the goodbyes. I read all the messages. I saw all the donations. Now it is time to go. Thanks for joining us. And we will be back with breaking news whenever it happens. We will see you soon at Right Side Broadcasting. Have a great evening, everyone.